Welcome back. There are reports that the family of Azario Major is seeking more than $1 million in damage for the police-involved killing of their relative. This according to a writ in the Supreme Court. The lawsuit was filed in December of 2022 under the Fatal Accident Act and is seeking benefits under the Survival of Action Act. Again, the coroner's court recently ruled that Major's death was homicide by manslaughter. Jcn reported last week that the Minister of National Security, Wayne Munro, confirmed the lawyer for the officers is appealing that ruling. Major was shot to the head, face, chest, stomach, back, arm, and legs while in his car outside Woody's Bar on Fire Trail Road on Boxing Day, December 2021. The shooting occurred following an altercation with off-duty police officers. Much of the incident also captured on video. The Bahamas Agricultural and Marine Science Institute, BAMSI, through the Caribbean AgroEconomic Society, has brought together regional experts as the 34th West Indies Agricultural Economic Conference kicked off this morning at Super Club's Breezes. BAMSI is playing host to 70 delegates from across the region, United States, and from Europe. The conference is being held under the theme Emerging Challenges and Opportunities for Food Systems, Climate Change, and Tourism Nexus. Agribusiness expert and president of Agri-Consultant Services, Godfrey Eneas, was one of the speakers in this morning's session. He says the Bahamas' food import bill must be lowered.
Put food in the hands of importers. So importers can control food supply, right? They reduce all the duties. And not only put food in the hands of the food importers, they decimated the agricultural sector. Decimated. As a result, there's no poultry industry, there's no food processing industry, all right? There are no farmers. I got some hobby farmers around. There's no commercial agriculture in this country because of these policies. And that is why the region has reached the point where this huge food import bill. Right?
In June of 2021, former Minister of Agriculture and Marine Resources, Michael Pintard, said the country's import was about $1 billion worth of food products annually. Mr. Eneas believes the only way to eradicate this food import bill is to implement an import substitution program.
And out of that import substitution program, we were able to demonstrate that we could produce cheaper than this cheap food policy that one administration wanted to introduce as a result of the block doctrine. And I want to summarize by saying that our import substitution policy goes even deeper. There's a $50 million market that the Bahamas has for the rest of California.
Other topics that will be discussed include challenges and communications and leadership in Caribbean food systems, school feeding programs and agricultural development, and exploring the economics of Caribbean food systems, among other topics. Prime Minister Philip Davis officially opens that conference this evening. As hundreds of workers gathered at Arawak Key on Labor Day, Prime Minister Philip Davis vowed to continue the open lines of communication with unions. Since coming to office, the government has signed 19 of more than 30 expired industrial agreements that it met in place. According to Prime Minister Davis, 8 industrial agreements remain to be signed. He says the government and the unions together have made progress.
I'm with you, and I'm always going to be with you. I for you for me, or I for you, or you for me. Because I believe every Bahamian deserves fairness and dignity. Because I believe every Bahamian deserves security. And because I believe every Bahamian deserves one key word: respect. I'm with you, and I'm always going to be with you. It is more important than ever to stand shoulder to shoulder to face modern injustices together. Our country has not made an easy time of it. We have not had an easy time of it either.
Acknowledging that there are good times and hard times, Prime Minister Davis said, hard times are no excuse to put Bahamians on the back burners.
Some governments think hard times are a good excuse to shove unions and their leaders aside. Let me repeat this. Some governments think hard times are a good excuse to shove unions and their leaders aside. I never believed that, and I will not stand for that. We saw how you were treated, and we shared your anger. We came together, as your leader mentioned, in August of 2021 to sign a memorandum of understanding to reflect our shared values and goals. That memorandum of understanding sure did kick up a lot of the skeptics and doubters, didn't it? Yes. But we weren't bluffing then, and we are not bluffing now.
Still, the Prime Minister says, in hard times, much can be done.
That is why, in hard times, we're able still to raise the minimum wage. Yes. Yes. That's why, in hard times, we're still able to increase allowances. That's why in hard times we are able to implement retention bonus for nurses and teachers. And in hard times we're still able to support promotions. That's why we're going to continue to work together and collaborate on future steps forward, Mr. President. That's why my door is open and why it will stay open. We work hard to kickstart a booming recovery, and a lot of Bahamians are working now. More than $1 billion in new investment means more jobs, but yet still more ownership opportunities, and they are all on the way too.
And finally, scores of workers lined the streets on a rainy Friday to take part in the 62nd annual Sir Randolph Fox Labor Day Parade. It was during the march that the 4 women who tragically lost their lives during the 2018 Labor Day Parade were remembered as members of various unions paid their respects to the late Kathleen Rogers, Tabitha Hay, Tammy Patrice Gibson, and Diana Gray Ferguson. During this year's parade, a wreath-laying ceremony was held at the monument on the wall of Zion Baptist Church, East and Shirley Street, where the accident occurred. The Bahamas Public Service Union President Kimsley Ferguson, who lost a member of his union on that tragic day, shared the following thoughts.
As a result of the tragic incident that took place, we thought it very fitting to memorialize those individuals who would have lost their lives, who were part of the machinery that keep this country going. And so today, in remembrance of Kathleen, who was one of our members, we lay that wreath and we send a message to the family that her memory will always live with the trade union movement as she lost her life on the Labor Day parade.
Prime Minister Philip Davis was also at the monument for the ceremony and expressed the following feelings.
Commemorate the 4 fallen sisters, Diane Gray Ferguson, Tammy Patrice Williams Gibson, Kathleen Rogers Fernanda, and Tabitha Bethel Hay, who lost their lives here on Labor Day. Their struggles and acknowledgement of the need for workers' dignity, for workers' rights to be protected. And this is what this march is all about. And I just want to tell the families who are here that we want to keep them alive in our prayers because of their sacrifice to be on a parade like this, to demonstrate their solidarity. His work will always be remembered. And we pause just to say, thank you for their lives, and we'll never forget what they have done. We appreciate it.
On that fateful day, participants of the parade were walking on East Street towards Shirley Street when the driver of a green Ford F-150 truck exited that truck to dance in the streets with the others. And as a result, the truck began to roll downhill out of control, plowing into unsuspecting paraders. 2 people were pronounced dead at the scene, and 2 died later in hospital, while 26 others were also suffering from a range of injuries. The driver of the truck, who stayed on the scene and assisted with the injured, was formally charged and pleaded guilty to a number of charges, including manslaughter. And that'll do it for your JCN Evening News. Once again, I'm Jcn Saunders. Thanks for joining us.
This segment of the news has been brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.